Today and for the last few weeks, health has been on my mind. I'm worried about my own health, and now that I'm back, just getting a video done has been very hard. I'm outside right now just so I can avoid distraction or the fact that my brain will go towards what I'm not doing or what somebody might need me for. As I've gone through this and watching my family members go through this, it's brought a few questions to my head and the thoughts of the video today. Hi, I'm Teresa and welcome to my channel. Here I am, I'm back home again, second winter in a row. Winterpeg, as we like to call it, Winnipeg, Canada. For the last 2 years, I have been out traveling. I sold everything to put my idea to the test of going a little bit rogue and living for under $1,800 a month while I traveled to different places around the world. I have been quite successful at that. The one thing I'm not very successful at is staying away from Canada in wintertime. Last year, I was here for my brother's funeral, and this year I came because I needed CT scans for myself, which I had last week, and I'll be hearing about the news of that this coming week. But a couple of weeks ago, while I was waiting for those scans, my mom fell and banged her head and caused a concussion. And she's the major caregiver, or the main caregiver to my father, who has congestive heart failure and sometimes can be forgetful and has other limitations. Both events were unexpected, but even more importantly, there were no plans made should they happen. So, how's your health? Have you thought or prepared for your future health? And then another question I never really asked before. Are you a caregiver, or are you in a situation that you don't really quite know how you got there and are wondering what it is you might be able to do to make changes? Are you like me in a very independent situation and you're having a bit of, a hard time understanding how it is others haven't planned for where they are now? Please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. I would love to hear any of the comments that you might have. Aging is never going away. It's the one thing we do when we come into this world, and we continue doing it until we leave. But getting old is something that doesn't have to happen. Yes, my body is going to let me down and has let me down. If you watched any of my other videos, you hear about, life in general. But how I age can be new, it can be different, and it can actually be inspiring. The majority of your life, you're going to live in your retirement years, and some of us will just retire, not to do anything else, not to learn anything new. And a good majority of us are going to make it to those retirement years. Since getting back, I've also been doing a lot of card readings in between the helping hand of my parents. In doing that, and watching what's going on in my own life, I see how some networks of people can be supporting and others can be somewhat codependent. And how we are positioned within these happenings or these networks are very important. I may not be the best person to be talking about this because I have primarily lived my life independently and solo. There hasn't been many people around. I have been a single parent most of my life. I ran a company, so I was the boss most of the time. People look up to you to lead, have the plan, and know what we might be able to do if everything goes wrong once we get there. This is something that I guess I bring to the table, and I'm not quite used to seeing that others don't have that. That doesn't make it wrong. It just means that maybe there's a little bit of my experience that I could bring forward to help the others in those situations. Also, being alone, I believe, has been a good thing. It's helped me to learn to live within my means, hence why I've sold everything and decided to travel on $1,800 a month. I still have to think about me in my future, and I don't have a spouse like many of you, as well as my children have their own lives. And I could not even fathom the fact of them having to do more than what they've already had to do through these predicaments that I've had in my life and with my health. It's helped me to learn how to reserve my energy for my tomorrows. When you have a life situation happen, as with me, with my cancer, with every time I have to go through that battle, no different than, say, an athlete having to run that race, it's not like you can get up and run the next race right away. And the more you have to exert that energy, the more you have to be aware of what it might require for you to regain those reserves that you have depleted. What would happen for me is not exactly the same as what it happens to you. So all I can do is give you a perspective and a game plan that I use. And hopefully you can use those same questions for yourself, and it might help you change the situation you're in for the better or the worse, whatever you require. I live to play another day. I remember in the past really working hard and giving everything to everyone, but the more time goes on, just like a battery, you have less in you. Or if you're out gambling, if I spend all my money and it's all gone, I don't get to play another day. I only have so much in my reserve, only so much in my budget. It's up to me to respect that. And then I have learned to surround myself with what I love and get rid of the things that I don't need. That was done a little bit by force. When health gets in the way, it can remove your power of choice. So if you can somehow look at things now, it can better prepare you for what might be coming in the future. If you're in a situation or you're feeling like life is enough, it is a good process to look through the last, say, 5 to 10 years of your life and see what kind of patterns might be popping up. Normally, when we do something in one area of our life, we certainly do it in another area of your life. So if, I don't know, working too much overtime for the boss happens to be a pattern in your life, you want to be able to acknowledge that and see it for what it is. Then you want to ask yourself about these patterns. Why am I upset? Is my happiness based on conditions? Is it based on the fact of the money I make? Is it based on the friends that I have? Is it based on the places that I go? If your happiness has conditions, your happiness has been built based around these routines or these patterns, then you might want to look at how much of these routines or patterns, these things, these conditions that bring you happiness are conditions within your control. Because no matter what, you have no guarantees of your health. And once your health goes, it's the only worry you have. Once your health decreases, all these things that bring you happiness, all these circumstances or conditions, they mean nothing if your health is gone. And your life is not the situations that you have no influence on. Your life is what you can control, what you do. Everything else is just a happening around you. And at one point, I really got in it here. I really thought there was something I could do to make a change here for everyone else, but there isn't. I can bring my experience. I can communicate how I feel or help along the way, but I'm only part of a situation. It's not my life. I listened to a Shaolin master, and he talks about remaining full inside and knowing my inner self. That is something no one can take from me. I can only give it away. So if you are feeling tired and you are feeling spent, you might want to recognize the fact that you're giving that inner fullness away. Have you eaten today? Have you talked to anyone today? Have you rested today? Have you gone beyond your limits and are now stressing yourself out to an emotional anger? These are things that you want to ask yourself. And don't enter into a situation if you are already beyond your limits or not feeling full. I also believe that having things or these situations are not the problem as so much as our attachment to them. How attached are you to the people that are around you and what you expect them to do? Or how attached are you to your job, to the car you drive, to the clothes you wear? I've gotten very good in the last couple of years at looking the same every day. Before that, not so easy. I had closets full of clothes. As I age, I get more used to my happiness on my inside. I've gotten okay with not having possessions, and knowing that I am still as happy and still as comfortable with who I am with or without them. I'm even getting happier without having a job or a position. It's been hard to do these videos because I have to talk myself into it, because I'd love to say, oh, it's okay, you don't have to. And yet I know how much they give to me. I like the learning. I like the growing. I want to be inspired. I don't want this life, this health to take me out. I want to challenge it all the way to the end. And finally, I feel alone is not so bad. To make this choice, people have asked me many times, how do you go out there? How do you do it alone? I've spent most of my life alone. And as I said, even as a leader. And when you are a leader, whether you be the mother of your family or the boss of your business or the leader of a team, you are the one people are looking up to. And it can be rather lonely. Having the responsibilities that we will put upon ourselves can be rather lonely. But it has also taught me along the way my limitations and my love for self. I've learned to be my own friend, which is probably the most important thing along the way. I have a couple of friends, but I learned when I went out there that I could be on my own even more than what I had pictured my life being as an independent. I'm able to know how I feel within my own body. I'm able to know what my limitations are, and I travel and move in life according to that. I make sure that I live within my happiness for me, because ultimately you come in this world alone. You're going to leave this world alone. And I don't dare want to put the burdens on others, because I was not responsible for myself every step of the way, even into or planning for the days I won't be able to tell you what my needs truly are. I think the other thing that's good for being my own friend, and maybe it doesn't sound so upside, but the chances are people that we love are going to pass on, and we will be alone. So if I don't learn to be independent now and be on my own, the pain of letting go and losing somebody later on, I don't know if I could bear. In my next video, I hope to be inside where it's a little bit warmer and talk a little bit more about the willingness to let go. But until then, take care and talk soon. Bye for now.